is integrated pest management, and pest we call in insects, bug, disease, weeds, anything that will harm your crop is a pest, and how can we manage. So IPM is a strategy that we manage our pests. Now you've seen commercial farmer that will spray a lot of insecticides on a set time. So he knows March, April, or May he's going to have that many insects because county agent, extension agent told me that we're going to have insects at this time. I should go ahead and spray it. So he's wasting a lot of money. And then you have organic farmers that don't spray at all. So just keep in mind, IPM is not organic, it's not a conventional farmer. It's something in the middle. So we're going to talk about it. So these are some of the things. Goal is to limit damage. Okay. Foundations and structure of IBM program. So first thing you want to do is to identify the pest. What is it that's causing problem to your crop? It's an insect, it's a disease, or it's something else. How are you going to do it? Monitor. By monitoring every day. Then you got to know your economic injury level, if it's worth it to spray or not. Once you know that, then you know you identified your pest. You have your cultural control, biological control, mechanical and chemical control will be your last resort. This is all what we're going to talk about in all this presentation. So saying that when I said we're going to spray chemical, so we say IPM is not an end. That means when you're using this strategy, integrated pest management, you're not eliminating insect. There is no way to eliminate insect, period. You can reduce their population, they'll come back. But with the IPM strategy, we're going to keep it somewhere between good and fair. Okay, should pesticide be used in IPM program? Anybody?
If need be.
Yes, only when needed. So pesticides can be used in IPM program, however, only as a last resort. When you are done everything else that you can do to get rid of a pest and it didn't work, then you're going to use insecticides. And try to use the insecticides that are least damaging to environment and your health. And okay, how do IPM program work? So I'm going to talk about action threshold, monitor and identify pests, prevention and control, 4 steps. So before setting an action threshold, what we need to know is what kind of insect it is, what is causing the damage. So at a point which the pest population or environment condition indicate that pest control action must be taken. Okay, before we talk about economic threshold, it's important you understand what economic injury level is, because we're going to talk in this chart here that economic threshold is below economic injury level. So we need to know what economic injury level is. So cost of your control is equal to amount of damage caused by the pest. So if insect comes and eats your crop, you know how much is damaged. It includes the amount of pest damage, cost of each control practice. So that is your cost of control. So whatever the insect damaged and what's the cost of control? How much you spray on it? How much that chemical costs you? How many hours you put in spraying? What kind of machine you used? Okay. So, economic threshold is where we put the, let's say, pest population at which a grower must take action to prevent the pest population from reaching the economic injury level. So, if your cost of your controlling that insect is the same as what insects is causing the damage. Let me put it the other way. You have collard greens, right? And you were gonna sell it for $100, your whole crop, right? And the insect come and they eat $10 worth of your crop. In the other scenario, you use $10 of chemicals to save the whole crop. You still on the $90. You're still getting $90. So if you make less money, let's say you make $80 by spraying $20 of insecticides, is it worth it for $10 damage to use $20?
No.
Same goes the other way. So when we say economic threshold, and that's done by research, and a lot of scientists have worked on how many insects will cause how much damage to your crop to where you should start spraying. So let's say this is the pest density, your insects, number of insects, and they are increasing. They come here, and your economic threshold is right here, because this is your economic injury level where you become to that $10 chemicals or $10 damage. You want to keep it below that. So when you come to economic threshold right here, now you know that there's a certain number of insects on that plant and they're going to cause me $30 of damage. I want to go ahead and spray $10 of chemicals on it. So you start spraying there. So what happens right there is their population stops increasing and they stay for a little bit and it starts going down. So now you got to keep looking for the insects. That doesn't mean that they're gone. It'll go down, they might come back again. So if their population comes again to the economic threshold, which is below economic injury level, when they come to that number, you have to spray again. This is what's going to happen if you don't spray untreated. It's going to cause more damage rather than if you spray here, it went down, and then they started coming back again. In time to treat again, they'll go up and come back down. So economic threshold concept does not work for all pests and pest types.
Question: when you say they go down, what are they?
The population is going down.
Oh, okay.
You have, for each crop there is a different threshold. For tomatoes, if there is, let's say, you know that if there's more than 10 bugs per plant, means that's your threshold. You can leave them, that's okay, they are not bringing you to economic injury level. But if it becomes 12, and they'll keep multiplying, right? So as soon as they got to 10, that's your economic threshold, you spray to kill them. So out of 10, maybe 6 died, 4 are still there. But 4 are not enough to give you that economic injury. So you're okay with that. So they will start populating again. When they go over 10 per plant, you spray again. It's just an example, it'll be more than 10, I'm just saying 10. So we're talking about economic threshold will not work on weeds. Grass, you just pull them, kill them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, weeds will compete no matter what. Okay, so number 2, monitor and identify pests. It's very important because not all insects, weeds or disease or anything that you see on your plant or fruit is harmful. So you want to make sure that you see a ladybug on your plant and be like, it's time to spray, I see bugs. Or some other insects that you don't know that could be harmful or beneficial, you don't know that. So make sure you collect those insects, take it to somebody who knows if they are beneficial or they harmful. So first of all is to monitor, discuss, okay. How do you monitor? The best time to monitor is early morning. Cool, nice, shaded area, the insects will hide. You can also get these traps, and they're just like those roach traps. You put it in your field between the plants, and if you can make it early in the morning, you can go in the evening and you'll see these insects collected, and they have like a little graph chart on it, and you will know like if there is more than 2 or 3 bugs in one square, that's too much or too less, you know, they come with the directions. There are also the colored ones, like this one right here, to attract insects. There's different colors for different insects. So these are all for monitoring insects. You'll also see holes and stuff. You know what's eating those plants. Now, these both look same. Okay, when you go to a plant, you walk up, they'll both look the same thing. You don't know what is harmful and which one is not. So you have to collect the insect and take it to somebody who knows. Okay, it could be harmful for tomato, it could be not harmful for something else that you're growing peppers or anything, and it's just visiting there. It's not harming your crop. So make sure you identify and know what's bad for which crop.
But if you watch it for some days, you'll find out, right? If you
Not
watch-
necessarily. It could be your leaf hopper, or it could be a wasp or something coming to your tomato crop, but it's not damaging your crop. It's something else that is coming from, like the ladybug you said, right?
Mhm.
You're seeing that lot of them on your plants,
Mhm.
but they're not damaging your plants.
It,
What you don't see is what they are eating,
right.
because they're too small.
Yeah, a lot of times you go and I've had someone call me and told me that frogs were eating down their trees. And you know, it seemed far-fetched, but here's the thing. When she went, all she saw was the frog.
Mhm.
So that's the natural. I mean, you imagine if somebody, say, was in an accident on the road and he died and there was a gun in the car or something, and you picked up the gun and the police came along. First thing they're going to think, you killed him.
They could have had a
You know.
But anyway, collect those insects, take it to entomologists, let them decide what it is. All these are the bad bugs. These ones are the good bugs. Lady beetle, wasp, bees. Okay. Let me see if I have another chart. Yep. Okay, all the good bugs that will damage the bad bugs. They will kill them. So ladybugs, So when we talk effective control, if you see the ladybugs, you see what are they attacking? The spider mites are there, and the spider mites are like very, very tiny spiders. You will not see them. You might have to bring like a magnifying glass or, you know, something to make them big. Now, thrips, you'll see like a little powder on the leaves. You might think it's a powder, but when you put a little bit of alcohol on it and put it under the microscope, you'll see those insects moving around. Yeah, there's gnats, all these things, ladybugs eating them. Pirate bug, it's really good, same as ladybug. Now, praying mantis is the best one. Will eat anything it can find. So if you see praying mantis, let them do their job, don't spray. But if you can get more, it's good. Ladybugs, actually, there's commercial people that sell ladybugs. So if you have any of these insects that are causing problem to your crop, you can go and buy those ladybugs and release them, and they will take care of these bugs. But anyway, this is kind of like I'm giving you a chart of what they can do. So what does the good bugs do? The wasp, they lay eggs into the caterpillars. Ladybugs eat eggs, and so on. And this is what happens when they lay eggs. Their babies come out of those caterpillars. So if you see a wasp or a bee, let them be there. So how to attract the good bugs? You're gonna be like, there's one way you can buy it, or there's another way you can attract them. So plant flowers that allow easy access to nectar, generally the same plants that attract parasitoids will nourish lacewings and ladybugs as well. So there's different crops, and they attract these good bugs. So they come for the flower nectar, which is sweet. But when they see all these little aphids and other stuff, what we call is like they come for the ice cream and stay for the steak. So they come for the flower, but they'll eat those other bugs. There's some of the names of the plants that you can use around your field to attract these good bugs. Sweet alyssum, cilantro, carrot, celery, dill, fennel, parsley. Okay, plant-mediated IPM tools. So what we call these plants that attract good bugs is a refuge crop. And if you see here, we have, when we talk about sweet alyssum, and there's 3 different kinds of colors of flowers that it comes in. So we planted all this between our crops. It don't matter if you walk on them, because that's not your target crop. This is only here to attract good bugs. The good bugs are going to come for these flowers and eat any bugs that are on these crops. And then we have what's called the trap crops, sunflower and sorghum. Now the bad bugs, they like sorghum and sunflower better than your other crops. So let's say you're growing whatever, peppers or tomato or anything. Have a row where you put sorghum and sunflower. So those bugs, instead of going eating your crop, they'll go after this. So what you're gonna do is when you see those bugs coming on these 2, you spray them and kill them. Now you say, why would I want to spray if I want to put these crops? Because you have 10 rows, right? And it's an example, 10 rows of tomatoes and 1 row of sorghum. So if you spray 10 rows, it'll cost you $100, where you spray 1 row is going to cost you $10, right? So all your bugs from those 10 rows are going here, and you go and spray $10 worth of insecticide and kill them, you save $90 right there. On top of that, your tomatoes are chemical free. There's some more examples of crops, trap crops and stuff. We do flowers, these different colors of sweet alyssum. Okay. Mulches for weeds, we all know. Instead of spraying herbicides around your plants, if you use wood chips or, you know, plastic or whatever, sometimes people put cardboard under it, which will eventually disintegrate into the soil, and then put wood chips. But if you're doing organic stuff, I guess you have to be careful as to where the wood chips is coming from. But people use plastic, which organic, they can't use plastic. So, as the first line of pest control IPM program is to prevent pests from becoming a threat. How would you do that? Is by looking at the seed that come from a company that's certified. Disease is the main problem. So instead of you have to spray it later on, get the seed from a certified vendor. Also, when you start growing, cultural methods like crop rotation is important. So don't keep growing same thing over and over again throughout the year. You want to grow tomato, you want to grow something else, because one insect is it likes tomatoes, right? If you keep growing tomato, it's gonna keep repopulating itself and it will multiply 10 times at the end of the year. But if you cut that one crop and grow something else in the next quarter, and then grow something else in the third quarter and fourth quarter or next year, the insect that came for tomato, he don't have tomato no more. So he's gonna have to move somewhere else. Bye. So, specific methods, what you can use is pest-free planting, crop rotation, physical barrier, cover plants with material to block the pest from plants. This is for blueberries, because you can't be there. Birds, when they come, they'll eat all the blueberries. They have screen nets that you can put on blueberries. Natural predators, we talked about the ladybugs and other bug trappings. You can put traps. GMOs, genetically modified plants that are already resistant to those insects or disease. So you can use those. Biological agents, introduce natural agents to the area that are harmful to the pest. There's some entomologists that they are working with certain kinds of disease that they release that organism into the field that attacks that insect and causes fungus on their head and it explodes. So ecological management, alter the environment to favor the population of natural predators and minimize that of pests. So if there's any bushes or anything around your garden where there's a shade and a moisture, you know the insects, predators are going to hide under it, remove them, and put the flowers that will attract the good bugs. Insecticide, your last resort. So that's how it's going to work. No population of insects, too much population of insects. So first you want to do is cultural methods, mechanical and physical. Biological means insects and stuff, chemicals. And okay, control. Once monitoring, identification, and action threshold indicate that the pest control is required and preventive methods are no longer effective or available, IPM programs then evaluate the proper control method both for environment and risk. So, once you know there's no other control left, use the least damaging chemicals. Pheromone use in IPM is also one of the methods that you see in those jars that have like little cotton ball on the bottom, and they put the pheromones. Is what it is female pheromones. So all the male insects think that there's a female in there, and they go after it, and they get trapped. So when all the males, there's less population of male, the females cannot populate themselves. So they'll eventually decrease. So trap crops was talking about, you want to put it around your main crop and put it 10 days, 20 days before your main crop, because they will be ready before your main crop if you're planting the same thing, right? If you're planting wheat and you know there's some insect, or a corn that some insect's going to come and eat it, you plant this one 10 to 20 days before you want to put the main crop, because when the insects are going to come and they're going to only damage this one because the fruit is ready on this one, you go and spray and kill them. 20 days later, your real crop will come and there's nothing to damage them. The other way is you want to put a crop that they like more than your target crop. So you put gold mustard in the middle and broccoli on the sides. They like mustard better than broccoli, so they're going to all attack this. You spray this, and this is good. Sorghum and sunflower, your main crop is tomato right here, but on the border you see there's a sorghum and there's sunflower. So all the beetles are going to go there. Same is right here. So benefits of IPM program: protect environment, improve profits, reduce risk of crop loss by pest, and peace of mind. Disadvantages: release of control organism could attack non-target species. When we talk about this biological stuff that they release, it might attack something that you didn't want it to kill. Well, organic people say that surface and groundwater can be contaminated. Anytime you spray chemical, it is, yes. Harmful residue may remain on the plants, that's pesticides. Loss of resistance and effectiveness may occur, yeah, because we're not doing as much of insecticides, maybe less dosage of insecticide or soft chemicals. Those insects might actually become resistant to those insecticides. More labor intensive, success could be weather dependent also. Hot, cold, rain, different things can happen. So this is the summary. If you have any questions, I will take questions now.
All right. We thank you, sir. Now, are there anything else outside of what you want to just clean it off? If you had put it under.
Yeah, I deleted mine.
I deleted
Which
mine.
ones are?
I took mine off. If there anything else